Welcome to ZombieChickenTaco.com. This is X8 as your host for the day. We're going to go ahead and go into some detailing of that gravestone we were working on. I went in and changed the front of the face because this is a little bit more visible to show you what kind of plaque that is. And the rest of it is no decal as before. Okay, what we're going to do here today is I'm going to show you some patch tools. Patch tools are a world in itself because it uses the vertice tool using the V key. But right now we're going to do something simple, and it's to help us out with this cross here on top of the stone. We're going to change our grid down a little bit to a 1, which gives us a little bit finer detail on how we want this to look. So I'm going to make this cross just a tad bit more detailed than before by hitting the E key and then just bringing those out just a little bit. Notice how this is same size as this one over here, these side pieces, but if I were to take it and the edge tool now, these overlap. We don't want overlapping pieces. You want to avoid it as much as possible. Newer games, it's not as bad, especially if it's like a weapon clip or a detail. But structural brushes, you don't want them to overlap like that. But what we're going to do is take this one and cut it, and deselect the E. We're going to cut it here, Shift Enter, and select the top piece, hit E, and bring those out just a little bit. So we've got ourselves our little more detailed cross. And you know what? I don't like the bottom piece. We're going to cut that one more time, because every time we cut it automatically puts a cock on the cut pieces, and we can merge them if we need to. But I cut that again so I can take this bottom piece and bring that out one. So now if you look in this view here, the cross is a little more Celtic, I guess you could say, or whatever you want to term that. Let's make a ring around that on this inside. To do that, we're going to come out here to our cross in our 2D view, and we're going to make a ring. We're going to hit Control Tab, go to the side view, bring that in, hit the 1, bring that over, hit 2. Okay, so now we're here. We want to do a patch, and we're going to do the ring. We want to go into Patch, Primitives, and this is where all your patch options are, but you're going to go to Cylinder. What that's going to do is going to put a cylinder in the middle of that cross. Looks like it generates from the top down view, if you notice there. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring that out to where it's more square, circular, put that in the center, and we're going to go and use the rotate tool on the x-axis. Rotate on the x so that's facing the direction we need it to. Make sure your grid's small enough. I keep bouncing back and forth just because depending on the size and depending on what I'm working on. We're going to bring that out a little bit more. There we go. That looks fairly centered to the center, right? Fairly centered. Okay. We're going to bring this in, bring that in, so now we have a ring on the outside. I'll get into some texture, surface texturing with patches and how to set up the light maps and whatnot. But it is fairly complicated. But every time you have one of these, you want to go into the surface editor and hit the S key and go into the surface inspector, I should say, and you want to do an L map, or I'm sorry, a cap, and then a natural. Usually found that works for almost all patches, minus a few. We'll get into that later. Now that we have that selected, we're going to go up to Patch and Thicken. You can thicken any patch by however much you want. I only want to do a 1 on this. See what that looks like now? I've just added the extra sides to my ring there. I kind of like that gray look. That's really kind of cool. I had it in brown when I was running through this earlier, but I like that gray. If we were to add a light to the map, I can show you something real quick in this tutorial, just as an added tools. Let's go ahead and right click here and add a light. This is just for fast means. I'm going to bring that up above the gravestone. See, it's a white light. It has this bubble around it. If you hit the F8 key, that's actually going to give you a detailed light map of your item, and that looks pretty good. We're going to bring that out a little bit though. And we can light your object any way you want to light it. Just give you a little bit of an idea of what it's going to look like when rendered in the 3D view. You can make this an omni light or a dynamic light, but I'm not going to get to that just yet. So that's pretty much it. That's patches. And what was I going to do here? Let's get rid of that light by hitting the backspace. We put the patch on there, and we've got the cross. Everything's set up, but we're still missing something. Ah, yes, we need terrain. To do that, I'm going to drag a brush, and we're going to move it down below that. Thing is this is a solid brush. If this was a concrete and you were walking on concrete, I'd totally be okay with it, but it's not. We're going to take this and we're going to turn this into a patch, a simple terrain patch. Now, a simple terrain patch, and with a simple terrain patch, if we go by 2 by 2, it gives us one patch that we can run with. But that's not the real thing we're looking at. We're looking at V. If you hit the V button, it allows you to see the vertices, and this is the start vertice, and these are the rest of the vertices. We can select one and we can move it in this view, as you can see. Or if we wanted to move it elsewhere, say on the 2D view, so we're going to hit V, select one of these, and select tools, I can't move it, I'm selecting it. Okay, so what we have to do is hold down the Alt button when we have it selected. So we hit the Alt, and we can now move that around. There's more to it than just that, because this is a simple terrain patch. I'm going to go back to where it was a brush. Oh, yep, we can go that back. And we're going to turn that into a patch. Simple terrain, but we're going to bring that up to a 4 by 4. What that does is it gives us a little bit more to work with. Let's scale this out a bit. Scale that out a bit, scale that out a bit, and we're going to pick ground texture. If you haven't picked or found or played with the textures yet, ground textures, there's a few up front, a few scattered throughout it, but you can go to textures, usage, and ground. What that'll do is give you a list of all the ground textures that they use within World at War, and that's what they have flagged in the Asset Manager as such. So we're going to select one of these as, let's say, brown dirt. Yeah, brown dirt works good. Now, there's a tool called Advanced Patch Editing Tool. If you hit the Y key, and we'll go more into this as a specialized lesson on that, but you can hit the V key as well. See, there's a few more patches there since we put about 4 by 4, and we can select all the middle patches, or all the middle vertices, and we can move those up one. Now if we take our Control Tab and go into the side view, we notice that the patches kind of looking quite right. So we're going to bring that down a little bit, but we're in our V mode, so we're going to hit V again so it's back in our object mode. Bring that down one. Now that gives us actually a little bit of a hill to work on.